Welcome back to the new news, where we discuss what the hell is going on our part of the earth and how it affects the average person like you and me. A war of words has broken out between the world's smartest man and Keir Starmer. This is after the world-famous robot man Elon Musk said that the UK was heading for civil war. In a comment on his social media site X, Musk said, "Civil war is inevitable." This was quickly rejected by Keir Starmer, who said that there is no excuse for comments like that. Sir Keir said it's not protest, it's just pure violence. He then added that we will not tolerate violence against Muslim communities or their mosques. Elon then replied to this, "Shouldn't we be protecting all communities?" This follows on from the continued disturbance all across the UK, allegedly as a result of 3 young girls being killed by a Welsh national. Hundreds of perpetrators have already been arrested, some of those appearing in court and crying for their mothers. Perhaps it has occurred to them that there's no justification for destroying shops and cars, attacking mosques, setting libraries, a hotel and cars on fire, and destroying gravestones. That isn't protesting. Peaceful marches and protests are legal. Destroying public property and causing a nuisance is not. The Prime Minister has announced a standing army of riot police to hopefully prevent any further incidents. We can only hope that this is not necessary and those trying to arrange further protests will stop. Amid all the chaos, there has been plenty of good people helping each other out. Mosque worshippers offering food to their attackers, grandmothers standing up to thugs, and good people coming out to clean up their community. It's a shame that these acts of compassion are not reported as much as the rioting. World-famous podcaster Brooke Schofield is being cancelled after old tweets of hers resurfaced where she says that the murder of Trayvon Martin was self-defense. It seems on social media that we're always trying to provide justice and change the world to be a better place. However, when someone's standing in front of us telling us that they've changed and they've put in the work and they are a better person, we cancel them and hold them to the standards that they were at 17 years old. How Brooke comes out with this will ultimately be down to her publicist, not the truth, hers or anyone else's. Financial news. The global markets have taken a nosedive, and whilst economists are struggling to find out the reason, most of us are just wondering if we should even care. Unless you're sipping champagne on a private yacht named tax evasion, this probably won't affect your daily meal deal. Yes, markets have dropped across the globe. Stocks are down, bonds are wobbly, and crypto bros are sweating more than usual. But for the majority of us who aren't day trading in the city or checking our offshore accounts from our private island, this news is more meh than meltdown. The rest of us are still here, watching Netflix and wondering if avocado toast is really the reason that we can't afford a house. The BBC is in trouble again over what it did or didn't know about another very famous broadcast presenter. In this case, it is the once highly decorated Hugh Edwards, who is now admitted to having indecent images of children. It seems that it was known by those high up in BBC that he had been arrested, yet he was continued to be paid a bunch of cash. Furthermore, he was defended by his co-workers who at least knew something wrong was happening. Why didn't they give him paid leave and a pay rise whilst they were at it? Oh wait, they already did that. In Paris, the Olympics continues to be a story of 2 extremes. On the one hand, controversies are cropping up daily, yet on the other hand, the sport itself has been iconic. Great Britain continues to be amazing across many different disciplines. Diving, swimming, kayaking, windsurfing and rowing. Athletes from Dominica and St. Lucia have won their country's first ever Olympic medal. Novak Djokovic has finally completed a career golden slam by winning the tennis tournament. And Philippines gymnast Carlos Yulos has not only come home with a gold medal, but a fully furnished apartment, cash, and free ramen for the rest of his life thanks to his grateful government. The controversies include whether the River Seine is safe to swim in due to its pollution. Makes me wonder why the organisers ever thought that this was an idea. The lack of VR in skeet shooting denied a competitor a golden medal, even when in slow-mo you can clearly see she hit the target. And of course the gender row between two female boxers, which is a terrible indictment on the media, who ran with the story with little facts, and it turns out everyone was allowed to pay because everyone was biologically female. All that aside, we are curious to see whether the closing ceremony will be any better than the opening one. And beyond that, there's the Paralympics, which start on the 28th of August. Let's hope that that avoids all the controversy that the Olympics Games has had. In the race for the White House, Kamala Harris has been officially confirmed as the Democratic candidate after receiving enough backers. And it looks like Donald Trump can't cope with having a mixed-race female as his opponent, as he questioned her black identity at a conference for black journalists. And now normal service is resumed. It's back to Trump looking like the senile old man who can't get through a speech without making an embarrassing gaffe. Something you can rely on every year is the joyful headlines in the media as soon as it starts to get a little bit warm in the UK. You know what I mean, the "phew, what a scorcher" headlines, usually accompanied by a picture of someone sitting on a deck chair or someone being attacked by a seagull at the beach. But questions are being asked by the scientific community. Is it always appropriate to report hot weather as good news? The Met Office tend to issue weather warnings when it is too warm, as it is now recognised that hot weather is just as bad as cold weather. This is especially true for the elderly, the young, and those with medical issues. Heat can affect everyone in different ways, and what is a blessing to some is a serious hindrance to others. A man has been jailed for stealing 798 cream eggs in a chocolate raid in the Portsmouth area between January and April this year. His campaign led him to target 19 shops on a total of 24 occasions. Whilst it's tempting to see this as a victimless crime, that's a lot of money for local companies to use, especially local news agents or small shops. It's been suggested here at New News that rather than him being jailed, he swaps that time for community service. How about cleaning up chocolate wrappers and other litter? That might put him off chocolate for life, which seems like the perfect punishment. Finally, a story that could give Planet of the Apes a run for its money. Ima, a zoo-born gorilla, has not only adjusted to his new life outside of Ken, but has gone on to father not one, but two baby gorillas. This is the first in history of zoo-born gorillas returning to the wild and making babies. As for the mother gorillas, they're not even worried that an outsider has swung in and set a new standard for fatherhood amongst the gorilla community. Who knew that Kent would produce such a charismatic gorilla dad? Hats off to the Aspinall family and their zoo in Kent for making this monkey business possible. That's the highlight of this week's news. Join us next time for more new news. And if there's any topics you want us to cover, DM us at wearmetv.net or leave a comment. Bye!